Suspiria is a 1977 Italian horror film directed by Dario Argento, who co-wrote the screenplay with Daria Nicolodi. It is somewhat based off Thomas de Quincey's 1845 essay Suspiria de Profundis. The plot follows American ballet dancer Suzy Bannon, played by the lovely Jessica Harper, attending a prestigious ballet school in Germany. After a horrifying incident strikes upon her arrival, it quickly becomes clear that there's something going on behind the scenes. Something supernatural. For those of you unaware of who Dario Argento is, the simplest way to describe him, he's the Italian John Carpenter. The man has a healthy back catalog of films, with most being giallo, the Italian word for yellow. Giallo films get their name from pulpy mystery novels which had yellow spines. So Argento has made tons of classic giallo films, but what about recently? Oh, well, let's review Suspiria and hopefully remember the good old days. We open up to one of the most memorable things about this film: goblin music. Argento must have been proud of this track, as he would play it at full blast on set to unnerve the actors. Out of nowhere we get a narration telling us who Suzy is and why she's here. Ignore that, as the film does an excellent job showing us what kind of film she's walking into. Well, this is different. It's a young lady being driven through a spooky forest to a local brothel. This is actually the ballet school, and things are off to a bizarre start, as not only is a student fleeing, but they refuse Suzy access to the building. Right, so back to New York I go. This character is Pat Hingle, played by Eva Axén, who flees to the trippy-looking apartment building with her friend.
It's useless to try and explain it to you. You wouldn't understand. It all seems so absurd. So fantastic.
Tagline for this film, it would seem. Staring into the black abyss, it soon stares back. Literally in this case. The killer must be Corvo, as he teleports up to the roof with Pat, sadistically stabbing her yet not killing. Seems Pat's a boss who you have to damage to expose the weak point, but Corvo wants those style points. The next day, Suzy tries once again, and this time makes it inside, meeting Miss Tanner, the head instructor, played by Alida Valli, and Madame Blanc, the deputy headmistress, played by Joan Bennett. Neither of them seem aware Suzy was turned away, but are happy she's here, and quickly introduce her to the girls. And Caddy doesn't even begin to describe how bitchy they act.
I once read that names which begin with the letter S are the names of snakes.
Now might be a good time to point out that the script was originally aimed for younger children no older than 12. However, the studio and producer Salvatore Argento told Dario that a film this violent with kids would be banned, so he moved the age up to 20 but did not alter the script. Well, it's been like 10 minutes without something spooky happening. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Whatever she was hit with, it had a status effect, as moments later Suzy collapses and is bedridden.
No, you must drink. The blood loss to hemorrhaging is gained back instantly with the intake of liquids.
Oh, and I may have accidentally skipped over the fact she was insisting on staying with her friend, but now has had her stuff moved into the school against her wishes.
A glass of red wine with each meal. It works miracles. Clears up anemia and strengthens red corpuscles. It builds the blood.
Well, at least she's roommates with Sarah, played by Stephanie Cassini. Besides, surely a high-class ballet school has top-tier accommodations. Well, this is going to lead to some bad Yelp reviews. Heading up into the attic, I'm beginning to think Quentin Tarantino stopped by to direct for an hour. Oh, nothing strange up here, just a chest in the attic filled with spoiled meat. Okay, well at least the school is quick to set up new accommodations. And look, it comes with mood lighting, also some top-notch acoustics. It seems they have a mysterious guest sleeping with them, who has a distinct breathing sound.
Hear that whistle? It's exactly the same.
Somehow able to go back to sleep after scaring the shit out of Suzy, we discover that the creepy boy was attacked by the blind pianist dog. Cast out of the school, he gets drunk, and walks into a huge empty plaza that no joke Hitler liked to hold speeches in. But in such an open area, where could an attack come from, and whatever could it be? Well, you remember Resident Evil? News of Daniel's death, he was played by Flavio Bucci, travels fast, and Suzy, hearing this, goes to Madame Blanc with information. Seems she heard Pat say secret irises or something. Don't know what that could possibly be. Anyways, time for Suzy to be incapable of waking, the goblin to blare, and the lights to go spooky. Hiding notes she's taken on the teacher's movement, Sarah flees through the school. The music dies down just long enough to let us know she isn't safe. Chased to her room, she must stack suitcases to escape, but a leap of faith awaits her. Somewhere a guy named John is taking notes. So yeah, that's most of the vital characters taken care of. I think it's time to seek some expert advice. Seems Sarah has been seeing a psych after digging through the school's history.
That the Tam Academy was founded in 1895 by a certain Helena Marcos, a Greek immigrant, and that the local people believed her to be a witch.
Seems this Greek immigrant went out in a blaze of glory as in a blazing fire. But there's more, and like Metal Gear Solid, this backstory comes on 2 discs, as our good actor tags in another expert.
Skepticism is the natural reaction of people nowadays. But magic is ever present.
Well, back at school, it would seem everyone is gone.
Where is everybody?
They have all gone to the theater for the opening of the Bolshoi.
Then why didn't anyone tell me about it?
No one tells me about a trip to the theater, then I think it's time I show these Italians what Americans did to the British in Boston. Now capable of being lucid, she discovers Sarah's note about the teacher's footsteps and follows them. She even figures out what that secret iris thing meant. And if you haven't pieced it together yet, we're dealing with a coven of witches.
I told you, we must get rid of that bitch of an American girl. Vanish. She must vanish. Make her disappear. Understand?
Slipping into a side room and knocking over the biggest set of balls, she awakens the head of the coven.
You want to kill me? You want to kill Elena Marcus?
Grabbing a sharp thingy, she moves in and yanks back the curtain to reveal...
No, death is coming for you!
But that's not all, as behind door number 2 comes Sarah, whose sight is 2 sore eyes. Trapped between a zombified version of her friend and an invisible witch, what can Suzy do? Oh, the witch is a D&D wizard, and an extra ugly one at that. So with the head of the snake chopped, the building begins to fall apart as the remaining witches die, and I'm fairly certain Miss Harper is actually at risk of being hurt during this scene. Walking off looking pleased with herself, the credits roll. Many people think the ending to Suspiria is abrupt, but I have to disagree as I don't know what more they'd add. However, where I do agree is with how much of a horror classic this film is. It's a film where everything comes together to make a memorable experience that isn't something I can exactly say I've seen before. From the memorable and dreamlike colors used to the impressive special effects, Dario Argento wanted a fairy tale nightmare feel to this film, and it does that in spades. Suspiria was shot over 4 months in Germany and Italy. Tracking down an exact budget and gross income proved difficult, but it is known that this film was a success in Italy, and after 20th Century Fox distributed it through a shell company, International Classics, it quickly became a success. This is despite it being cut by 8 minutes to maintain an R rating. To date, this is Argento's highest grossing USA release, and Fox's 7th highest grossing release of that year by theatrical rentals alone. This isn't even counting video sales. The film's initial release was in Italy, 1st of February 1977, with its latest appearance being Poland, 7th of August 2020 at Octopus Film Festival. Most titles for this movie are Suspiria, with some being Dario Argento Suspiria. However, the Finnish have Suspiria Deadly Sighs, and Germany has Suspiria in the Claws of Evil. Suspiria, roughly translating to sighs or whispers, makes the first title a bit redundant. The movie has a strange history with awards, as in 1978 it was nominated Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress, Joan Bennett. Then in 2002 it was nominated Saturn Award for Best DVD Classic Film Release. And once more in 2018, won Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Award in the following categories: Best DVD Blu-ray, Best Restoration, Best DVD Commentary, Best DVD Extra, aside from the deaths of 40 Years of Suspiria, directed by Daniel Griffith. You may have noticed dubbing throughout the film that ranged in quality. Well, an odd staple of Italian films of the time was to have actors speak their native tongue. On a set where you'd have Italian, German, Brazilian, English, Spanish, and more, the dubbing becomes that much harder at the time. Jessica Harper's voice was dubbed for the Italian release, which Argento found saddening, as he thought she had a rather nice voice. He must also be a fan of Brian De Palma's Phantom of the Paradise. The role of Suzy was originally meant to go to Argento's girlfriend at the time, Daria Nicolodi. However, the studio scoffed at the idea, as an American actress they believed would draw in more money. Daria then attempted to get the role as Sarah, but an injury forced her to bow out. She can be seen in the opening airport and lended her voice for Helena Marcos. But who actually put on the makeup? Well, according to Jessica Harper, she was a 90-year-old ex-prostitute who director Dario Argento found on the streets of Rome, Italy. The voice heard whispering on the bizarre soundtrack by Goblin is that of Goblin band member Claudio Simonetti. Simonetti stated in interviews that much of what he whispers on the music score was just gibberish. In the climax, Suzy plucks a glass feather from an ornament. Director Dario Argento's feature film debut was directed in The Bird with the Crystal Plumage in 1970. This film is inspired by actual events, as its conception came about after Daria told Argento about her grandmother, who claimed to have fled from a German music academy because witchcraft was being secretly practiced there. Actually, it goes even deeper, as the climax is inspired by a dream Daria had that involved an invisible witch, as well as an exploding panther. However, it's a porcelain panther in the film. Stephanie Cassini as Sarah had one of the more painful death scenes. While yes, the barbed wire is fake, it still wound around her when she jumped in and pinched her skin repeatedly. Sadly, this was the final film of Joan Bennett. Dario Argento himself makes a cameo via the killer at the start, though he does also appear in reflections at a few points in the film. He has stated these were intentional, but who can say? One of the most interesting components of this film is its color palette. Many think it was achieved with an outdated 3-strip Technicolor camera. No film made after the mid-1950s was shot using this method. Rather, it was processed by Technicolor using their dye transfer, Ambition, that produces incredibly vibrant colors in the final prints, as opposed to the more common, less saturated, chromogenic printing. So it was shot in conventional color film, but the final prints meant for viewing were made using dye transfer, leading to that vibrant pop. This process can also be seen in Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind. The confusion around this arises due to the 25th anniversary documentary bonus disc with cinematographer Luciano Tivoli talking about Suspiria. A diagram showing a 3-strip camera is shown, which is the reason for the confusion. Suspiria is actually one of the last films to use this technique. Talks of a remake go all the way back to 2005, and every single one has been met with a mix of hostility and lack of enthusiasm. There is a 2018 film, though from what I've seen, it failed to capture my attention. What has actually captured my attention was there was going to be an anime remake back in 2006 by Gonzo. Sadly, I don't think we'll get to see a Japanese take on Giallo. This film serves as the start of a trilogy called The Three Mothers, which includes Inferno from 1980 and The Mother of Tears from 2007. Now how loose is this trilogy, I don't know. However, with this being my first taste on the channel of not only Argento but Giallo, you can expect to see more of both in the future. That'll have to wait though, as I have a house call I need to attend.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.